All right, thank you. So this Futures Forum is a place for critical expertise and discussions about emerging technologies and its impact across the state, where we explore the frontiers of innovation and technology, shaping the future of Montana and beyond. My name is Dr. Jonathan Richter, and it's my great privilege and honor to be with you all here, right now, right here. What an incredible, fast-paced, interconnected, and complex world we live in. And what a wonderful place we call home, the Big Sky Country, home to the Grizz. Please remember that during our live recorded portion of this event, we intend to keep discussions brief and focused. We advise you your questions to be short and specific. And if you're attending live here in Zoom, please use the Q&A feature down in the toolbar. And I will field those questions for Dr. Fung or myself, while Funman will engage directly with the audience live here. There will be an informal discussion with forum attendees for the remainder of the hour following the show. So the link in the recording of this session will then be dropped into the Montana Futures Forum MS Teams instance where the discussion can continue. So this is an exciting moment for innovation at University of Montana. Today, we're not only hosting this conversation about the transformative power of immersive technologies, but we're also launching the at XR Community of Practice, a new initiative bringing together faculty, students, and industry leaders to explore the future of extended reality in education and workforce training. As part of this effort, we're proud to convene the Montana chapter of the Immersive Learning Research Network, connecting our work here in Missoula and at the university with a global community of immersive learning professionals. Montana's always been a place where ingenuity meets necessity, where big ideas take root in our landscapes, our communities, and our institutions. From cutting-edge research to groundbreaking applications in education, we're seeing technology transform the way we work, learn, and collaborate. And today, we have an extraordinary guest who exemplifies this spirit of innovation. Joining us today is Dr. Man Fung, an assistant professor of chemistry at University College Dublin and a visiting Fulbright scholar at Stanford University. Dr. Fung's work is revolutionizing science education by bridging virtual reality with real-world job sites. Imagine high school students stepping into an industrial workplace, not just as observers, but as active participants, seeing chemical reactions unfold in real time at the molecular scale, making invisible processes visible and even co-creating knowledge alongside industry professionals. This immersive approach not only deepens learning, but also sparks curiosity, creativity, and a new way of thinking about chemistry in the world around us. As we launch at XR and expand Montana's role in the global immersive learning movement, we're thrilled to have Dr. Fung with us to share his insights. So let's dive into this conversation and uncover the future of learning together. Everyone, won't you please welcome Dr. Man Fung.
Thank you. Thank you, Jonathan, for the very kind introductions. I must say that I'm not extraordinary. I'm just an ordinary person. Very privileged, right? We all work hard and feel very lucky to be here in Missoula, Montana for the third time. So I'm really thankful for your time here, right? To be at the Mansfield Library and also participants coming online here. And some of them are coming in from Asia and Africa, my friends. Yeah, different time zone. So this is really special. And also it put a testimony on how technology can advance learning and education, right? It's no longer be bounded by physical presence, but internationally, we are borderless, okay? So this is my talk today, just a little sharing, okay? But I want to first thank to all of you here who are Americans, US citizens, for paying your taxes. And Fulbright program is a way that your taxpayer money goes to support scholars like myself to come to the United States to exchange ideas and collaborate for long term, okay? So my journey began in 2019. So I talk about, I'm here for the third time, but the first time was in 2019. I was a YCD fellow in my work in civic engagement at the Man Fung Center just upstairs. Right? And you see that on the right side, we have a executive director, Dina Mansour, and the former staff there. I was in the DC at the time, right? It's it's a moment that I treasure because that was my first time to the State Department headquarters in DC with my fellow Singaporeans on the left. Okay, 4 of us here in Southeast Asia. And subsequently, I came back Missoula again. And of course, second time walking to the end with Jonathan. Okay. But the second time here was another program sponsored by the US State Department. It's a SUSI program. And I also met Jacob, yeah, who helped us with the program. And what I want to share is, right, I came in for the third time. Every time I come, I know that I will come back. I just didn't know what program, the how, the when. I'm very optimistic, okay? I work hard and make sure that I must connect with my friends again, okay? So lifelong learning. So it's various parts of my life, some things I do outside my job, outside chemistry. I mean, it's my community service, workforce development, about skills development, and now lifelong learning. So this is the profile of me at Stanford. So I started about 2 months ago. I'm entering my third month and good to be here for a week. Look at that, it's education that brought me as about engendering equitable education through strategic lifelong learning skills. Okay. And this is really a vision that most leading universities have around the world today. We have a degree in a few years, maybe a bachelor, with a master's, PhD, postdoc, whatsoever. But universities has been enrolling students more than just a few years of a lifetime because we have to keep on learning. If not, we'll be left behind. If you do not go for training or earning some certificate, there are people doing that. And when something happens, and guess what? The employers would look at these factors. Okay. So a bit of my education. So as Jonathan mentioned, I'm a trained chemist, primarily based in Singapore. I was raised in Singapore. I did my bachelor and my PhD in chemistry, and my master's was a joint degree in Germany, München, and NUS. But I spent most of my time in the industry during my master's, working with fellow researchers, also in a factory, where they had very, very little education. And this built a lot of empathy in me. When we go to workplace, we have different people with specialized skills, but the way we communicate with others who have different vocational training, I think it's very important. Because without a whole team, there's no organization, there's no success for the organization. Okay. So I finished my PhD in 2020, just at the COVID. Lockdown in Singapore. They don't call lockdown in Singapore, so it's like pseudo lockdown. You can't go to many places. But that means I couldn't do a regular postdoc. I couldn't go overseas, right? But I become independent, got my own funding, hired 3 person, gave jobs to fresh graduates who didn't have a job, right? And thanks to the government funding, you say, hey, you can't let the young people to have no working experience. So I enrolled them, and there were 3 of them. Only one of them was a chemist. The other one was an engineer, not even chemical engineering. And the last one was a computer scientist. And they all could join my group. It's because how I shape my group's value is not just chemistry, it's about lifelong learning. And it just happened that after I got my Fulbright, I got a job offer to work in Dublin. And I moved last October. I started on the 1st of October. And my bosses there were very kind. They were very future looking and said, oh, Feynman, you can go for a Fulbright after just 1 semester of teaching because, they're really practicing lifelong learning, right? You're on the job, but you need to learn, and sometimes that take you away from a job. But I'm still, replying emails, doing work here, just that I couldn't, see my students in person. And the caveat for today's talk, right, is going to be short and sharp because of time, and I'm asked to showcase projects I've done with publications, not to bore you. So I will not go too deep into all the projects. That might take you one day. I got to come back to Missoula again, okay? Apply for funding for me to come back, yeah? Now it's easier in Dublin, okay? And there are some of the opinions I have about my research, right? And this is how we analyze things that do not represent my previous organization or current organization. Because this is just science, right? Yeah. So I believe that the future of university education centers on 3 things. We have to be international. Students will travel abroad. It's happening now. But can we get it to 100%? Okay? Or 200%? We need a student, undergrad, postgrad, will get not just 1 chance, but 2 chances to go to different parts of the world. For instance, if you are students studying in okay, University of Montana, can a student go to Asia one time and Europe one time, or Africa? Because these are different cultures. And I believe that it has to be interdisciplinary, right? If I'm studying chemistry, in my work now is, I'm still in the School of Chemistry, I do chemistry teaching, but I find that what is foolproofing myself for the future, I believe, is if I collaborate with my other colleagues, the scholars from other disciplines like the humanities, the sciences, I think it will survive long term. Okay. And being entrepreneurial, we have to be creative about the skills that we are training students is no longer information that we're imparting. And also, as professors, we are no longer just teaching our own course. At NUS Singapore, I built 2 courses, mainly in the field of psychology. I read Daniel Kahneman's book, and together with my colleagues, we built up 2 electives on learning how to learn and on learning how to think, making decisions. Yeah. And people challenge me, say, you're a chemist. You don't have the authority to do this. But to me, we always have naysayers as academic. This is what we are for, right? We have to stand defended. So I let my work show, right? And it got my Fulbright here. So these are some of the values that also segue into my university, the values. So I have a question for all of us here, okay? And if you're online, right, you can also participate, okay? And I guess most of you are at home or workplace, you're sitting down, same here as my audience here. But the first question is, anyone interested in visiting Dublin? Please stand. Exactly, okay. You can't see it, but you see almost everyone standing, okay? Yeah, those who are not standing because they are on. Oh yeah, exactly. Oh, good, yeah, good, good. Okay, thank you. Actually, I didn't ask you to sit down, but it's okay. because, because I was going to ask, right, for those who has Irish roots, take a seat. Okay, okay, but maybe just keep it simple. Raise your hand. Oh, cool. Yeah, do you have it? Half of you, right? That means we could foster more exchanges between U of M and UCD. Okay, good. So this is my vision when I built my research group to augment the future of teaching, training, and learning. I believe in using technology, integrated experiences to build learning experiences that's unforgettable, that's meaningful, so that students will remember that was the best time in my life. Okay, I want to come back because my teachers care for me, my friends learn with me, I get the best support here. So that one day when I become successful, it's because large part of it, I spent 3 to 4 years at college. I pay a lot of tuition fee, but more than that, the return on investment is huge, it's lifelong. And when I want to do a high degree of certificate, I want to come back again. It's a kind of bond, sense of belonging that we want. Okay. And that's why I choose to come back, not second time, third time to Missoula. People are so great here. Okay. So my team is diverse. They are not just chemists, but you see that the interest is really about building community. And therefore, the second point here got me my SUSI, okay, and the civic engagement piece here. Okay. And I've been using from day one, in my former job, to use technology, right, to help to train learners how to think and how to learn better. So we started with in 2012, right, using GoPro at the time. It was just a GoPro 3. Today you have the drones and all that. But I was very privileged to be given resources and time, latitude to experiment, research. And that was a few years later, we have a 360 video, right? You see, you can build a video. There's no blind spots, right? And today it seems like a bit more historical. And we also did the drone, right? Drone is still upgrading, but if you see clearly, right, if you're into drone, there is a DJI Phantom. If you talk to young people about DJI drones, they say, what's a Phantom? Yeah. It's a matrix, and now it's big one. You can carry 2 batteries, you know. So yeah, it's been a while, yeah. Of course, then you cannot take away the humans from learning. There's team board games, and there's a light board. And at NUS Singapore, we are one of the first in the world to get a light board. And I'm so glad that Glenn showed me the light board here in Missoula. That's beautiful, okay, with the podcast room here. Yeah. And John mentioned about how I use technology to help learners see something that's invisible, that's so small, in the micrometer scale, right? Orbitals. Yeah. Because it's hard to make sure everybody think alike. But when you show something, at least we have something that we see. Okay. We can think differently, but we can have a debate. We don't say, oh, what do you mean by flickering balloon-like structure that's blue and pink? You see? Yeah, it's hard. And because we want to make sure students have access to educations outside Singapore at the time, we brought students to Indonesia via a VR excursion, where we could not bring everybody to overseas because of many reasons, like some students have family members they're taking care of. We can bring the experience to them. And technology is wonderful, right? Because you just need maybe me and my RA to go there, film something, build in the experience, put it back online, and we have this technology to help us, okay? Learning together. So, but today, my talk is about spatial reality. So there's a few projects you have seen just now that segue into it, because today's technology is more than that. Okay? Now, maybe you have been here before in a chemistry lab, right? Or any lab during your high school or university education. And when I started teaching after a couple of years, I get this recurring feedback. Students tell me that, oh, I can't see what you're teaching. I need hands-on practice. I need to try, right? But to me, like, I record very good videos. I give them hands-on experience to try afterwards, right? But what they're meaning when they say these 3 lines is that when I show them a live demonstration, not everyone can see because the class is so big, right? And in Asia, I must say, in most parts of Asia, people are a bit more subservient. When they can't see, they just, okay, they won't say, hey, I can't see, can you help me, And people won't kind of check in everybody. You got a problem, trying to get it resolved, against my opinion. So people are like, okay, I know, I'll go back and study, talk to my friends. And this is not just in Singapore, because I brought students to Europe, in France, Lyon. We have a summer school. It's the same thing. We do it in small groups because of the limitation of the scope, right? And we have to take turn, there's time delay, all these logistical issues. So can we use technology to enhance this, right? Save time, right? And we learned that over the years, realism is the key to build in learners' self-efficacy and interest in subject matter. These students here, they are university undergraduate, master students, but they are adults. And it's the same as lifelong learners like yourself in any organization. If one day the human resource team give you say, oh, you have to undergo AI literacy course, maybe you have done that already, right? How do you do it? You go on Canvas or something, you take a course, right? Answer some questions, watch a video. It's like, oh, that's what I did 10 years ago. Videos, you mean it's still the same? Can it be more immersive? Can it be more practical? I need to try it now. I cannot understand what you're teaching me, you see? So if we can build something a bit more immersive, right? That you have the autonomy to choose a pathway, real life 3D, right? It sticks more. So we published some papers here based on the research there. Yeah. Now I would like to highlight this part here. This is about VR crime scene. So these are students who are going to be CSI in Singapore, okay? Studying forensic details here. And we did a quick test that those who didn't train, right, in our course, right, and we just put them to the VR experience, right, they are less systematic in their where they look and scan for evidence on the right side. So on the right side, you see, they miss out on the part on the top and left-hand side, they don't watch those because they're not trained. But those who are trained, you see, it's very systematic. They scan the room from top left to right so that they don't miss any details. And VR can capture this evidence. Because if I ask someone, right, they can just tell you what they want you to hear or what they feel like the right answer. But this is really behavior. You can't lie, right? There's no point. You can't, okay? So, and that's the best way to invest in learning sciences, okay? So, yeah. And here's the second one here, okay? So, you see, he can pick up things that is a good feedback for the instructors like myself. Oh, this is the area students always forget. Can I drill this in my next class? Based on what they see, not say, I've got a question. Oh, see, maybe 10 out of 30 students got the question and answer. See? Yeah. Okay. And you see that on the right side, remember these are the untrained students. They look at certain areas that the trained students didn't look, which is also good feedback. And then we ask, why are you looking at those things? Right? I think it's good because it doesn't mean those are not valuable places to look at. There must be something ongoing in their mind, okay? Yeah. So to me, it's very good questions for us to continue to investigate. Now, And then I become a bit successful at the university at the time. Say, oh, Fireman, you're the person to do VR, AR. Say, okay, that's the big project for you. So I say, okay, bring it on. Okay, give me some resources and people. So, and then I was asked to use technology to build in learning experiences for students together with faculty, bring more people, like a community of practice. Okay, that's what you're having now. Jonathan's building. So here we focus on using VR, AR like a mixed reality. Okay, or here I wanted to coin spatial reality. Okay, because more VR here. Now I like to share some trends of VR in the lifelong learning space here. And I just put it out from today, like this Gartner report, very prestigious, highly recognized report in the IT space here. So Zach would know about this. You know, any IT administrator would request money from the president, say, I need to have access to this report because they have very good research. And this is just a year ago. Okay. I just put one line. 2030 projected to grow to 370 billion by 2034. And Mr. Mark Zuckerberg just a few weeks ago went for an online podcast and said they're going big on the Ray-Ban glasses. That's VR. So which means that we should really think a bit more to see how can you incorporate this meaningfully in your own teaching, because you'll be part of our learner's life. When you have a cool Ray-Ban glasses that doesn't look like this, that covers your eyes, but you can just wear it like shades, and you can even catch Pokemon with a blink, like a wink or not, right? Yeah, I think it's really cool. Okay, I don't play Pokemon, but my students are always like putting the phone out, and then you know what they're doing. Right? Yeah. Pokemon Go, right? So, oh, that's cool. What is that? My time was the Game Boy, so I'll just catch it on my black and white one. It was pretty fun, okay? Yeah, my childhood. So, and the thing is, right, surprisingly, it was counterintuitive because people see all these technologies, all this expensive, right? Like, oh, but what you actually need, you just need two things. And one of these you already have, right? A computer. The other one, which is a 360 camera, it's like this size, or maybe twice the size. You can hold it in one hand, okay? How much it costs, Jonathan, in the US? 360 camera.
I think they're probably $60, somewhere out there.
Exactly. So low price, right? I can just save up a day of my meal and invest in it, right? Yeah. Because when I first started it, I was like one of the pioneers. That was in 2016. I recall it cost about 300 euros. Yeah, pretty steep at the time, but still affordable to get us a few pieces. And then for the end user, you also have a smartphone or computer, right? And if you have that, that's optional. You can see more immersively, okay? This kind of devices, you have it in UN, okay, the library. Bit of teaser. Oh, let me just pause it. Okay. That was the big project at the National University of Singapore. They got me the Fulbright, 300,000 US dollar. So we bring a whole team, get the right people, the designers, the pedagogists, to work together to bring learners to the lab. And these learners do not have to be trained in chemistry, because we also want to do for outreach. Young people who want to be fascinated by lab, but because of safety, because they're minor, they don't have a chance. But we give them this opportunity, this access through VR, because it's so real. And we want them to like play around, hurt themselves a bit so that they be more careful when they see the real thing. We don't want anybody to see real blood, but VR can do that, okay? And of course, when you go to the lab, right, nobody wants to put a safety shower because that means accident happen, right? But when I was a teacher, I always go there and put a little bit so that to prove students that it's not a fake thing, okay? There's water dropping down, maybe it's a bit brown. I got a bit on my shirt to just show that when something happened, this is what we have for you. It's working, okay? Yeah. And the students really appreciate this VR experience because I also invite them to try the shower. And there were times where they did. So I also prepare raincoats for them. And they really feel, oh, so real. And they say, oh, it's a real thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, can I have more students experiencing it without wetting the ground because we could clean and then the lab will run late, that kind of thing. Yeah. So people appreciate this experience, right? And this, again, is no border. I could bring you to my lab in Singapore, my students from Dublin, Ireland to Singapore. Right? Anybody, yeah, we can do that if you have a device like this. So we just published an article, and Jai is the lead author. So you can study this later on. Yeah. But I want to stress that the three things I see the future of university education is about, remember, interdisciplinary, international, and what's the last one? Entrepreneurial. Good. Easy. IIE, right? IIE. Yeah. Okay. So lifelong learning skills is about community. You do not build skills alone with a computer, right? Because we still work with people. And people now, colleagues are international, right? And probably in the US, it's interstate, but it's international because people from outside the US come to the US, right? There's also digital literacy. These devices didn't show up 10 years ago, right? But my team there who developed the VR lab, this is how they meet online. You don't have this gear, that means you don't show up. They no longer use this. And the reason is, it's funny because, to ask why, my colleague said, because there's something called the mouse jiggler. You know, people, exactly. So therefore, some organization didn't want people to work remotely because you can kind of cheat their way. Oh, I'm online, you see? Yeah, you see? Administrators. Learning, lifelong learning. So, you see, yeah, and some people on most on 2 or 3 computer. They get 2 or 3 jobs, okay? I mean, life is expensive, right? Yeah. Okay. So, but the last point I want to stress is, right, because of AI today, okay, is no longer knowledge transfer, but learning transfer. In the past, when we have thick books in library, there's not much space. It's all books, encyclopedia. It's information. Human use small data learning. We read, we learn. We talk to people, we learn, right? AI, you just grab information using large language model, and they just scan it, they get it, and link them out. So when say a community, so I believe in the community of inquiry because in my classroom, everyone's learner and also participate in learning. So this is the definition from the literature, but it's about open discussion, challenging beliefs that you have. We all have our assumptions, but the hardest thing is, how can we change our assumptions or question our assumptions even though we think they are correct? This is what makes us human. We are biased. We have cognitive biases. Yeah. Okay. So, but what is the COI framework? It centers on presences, the sense of being there. Like you are here physically. Are you distracted because of things at home or the phone, is vibrating, right? So there are 3 presences that I stress, or rather, I started with Professor Garrison from Canada, right? And the social presence, the cognitive presence, teaching presence, without one of these 3, you will not have the holistic experience in the middle. It's education learning. Now, during the COVID, right, we lost everything. You don't see your classmates, people in the classroom. People normally teach via Zoom, and you can choose to not see the teacher, just hear a voice. You don't even have a connection to someone who has the knowledge or the authority to talk to you, right? And you are stressed by the health. Maybe you are sick, maybe your family members are sick. So you just down, right? Just bad. So it's all gone. What it means is that students who used to perform really well, they didn't do well, okay? They did not reap the full benefit of university education at the time. It's not their fault. It's not the teacher's fault. It's just COVID. So we are now post-COVID. What can we do? Should we still continue to build this learning community? Yes, because learning is about human. We learn from people, okay? We can't take away part of us and put in the NVIDIA chips, right? Yeah, it doesn't work that way, yeah? Okay. So why not we use technology to enhance how we engage learners or build bridges and trust among the learners, okay? Instead of just everyone to the teacher, okay? So here, AI. We are living in the time of AI. Remember, creating learning transfer, not knowledge transfer. So I work with students and I learn a lot from my students. They're brilliant. I work with them since high school. from Singapore, and now Charles right now is in the second year in Cambridge, UK. This is chemistry stuff, but he's not even a chemistry major. He's a natural science major. He liked computing science. He learned coding during COVID, self-learned, got certificate, cybersecurity, whatever. I salute him. Lifelong learner. I can't even do that. Probably I have a full-time job, I'm busier, but still, the desire, the determination to learn. Just say, I'm curious about something, go YouTube, learn, practice, work with people, integrate it to other areas, interdisciplinary. So this is AI-driven. Basically, we're trying to solve a problem that teachers need to spend a few hours making exam questions. Can I spend a bit less, but let the AI think for me, right? And we give them as diagnostics test to students. When they do 3 questions, if it's correct, the next question will be harder, so that there's challenge. You know about the Goldilocks principle? You need to be just right. Students who got wrong, they are demotivated. So the 4th question will be easier. Uplift them, right? That's how we progress, okay? In the learning science, it's got desirable difficulties. Just right, but so hard. Because sometimes we teach across, the class and, it's a bell curve, but the computer is seeing one-on-one. This is really personalized learning. So I also use a bit of game-based learning to build the community. Because when people are young enough, right, to play board game, you play board game not with yourself. You can't play minimum 2%, right? And you remember those times. Maybe you're frustrated, maybe you're elated, right? Can we do it online as well? And it's possible. Okay, chess is still very popular online. It's a board game, right? You see how many people are there. So I try to bring my research as a chemist into online learning. Okay, so they learn what's the life of academic and not just say, oh, we teach and go home. We have to write proposal, get grants, go for conference, take care of our lab safety. Yeah, many things. And just published a couple of days ago on the 4th of March. So it's open access. Feel free to read about it. Yeah, and we can talk. And I'm ending my slides here. So I want to just recap that this is my own belief that it's IIE. Yeah, and it kind of connect with also the vision of University of Montana, right? So I invite you to visit UCD, right? Bring a big team, bring students here, we can cross-exchange, yeah? And remember, technology, we cannot take it away from our life and learning, okay? So if you don't adopt it soon, you'll be left behind. Left behind doesn't mean you can say no, but basically, it's painful. It's very painful, okay? Yeah, it's very painful, okay? So, and VR can help us. So again, thank you for doing your tax return. Yeah, okay.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Fenman.
Yeah.
We are so lucky to be able to have people like Funman to visit the University of Montana and to have the connections all around the world that we have. Really appreciated that. I wanted to ask you, you have so many projects.
Yeah.
What was the most meaningful of all of those? Or do you have like a favorite there? Or just wondering why? Or you have such a diversity. Just curious.
So you saw many projects I presented, right? You flash out. I think they're all meaningful. I will not forget any one of them. But the thing is, I will take your question in 2 parts. The early projects, right? I did it myself alone. There's no team. I was just a young person, right? I learned to fail. It was very memorable to me. And then I got some result. I applied for funding. I enjoy working with people. I wanted to teach and mentor others who are also curious to learn with me. Those are also memorable, and we grew to be bigger, and we can do more things. Because at some point, you just can't do everything yourself. So that's my answer.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
The last couple of days, Funman and I've had the opportunity to collaborate together, and he's very good at being flexible, precise. Really had a great set of orchestrations over the last few days. That's cool. Oh, let's see. Maybe you could ask a question with the audience, and I'll check in Zoom to see on the Q&A if we've got you there.
Anyone want to ask something? Or still digesting? You can disagree with me. You can have a chat here, right? Yeah. Yeah. Any concerns or like questions or I don't know, or thoughts? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You mind taking the mic? Yeah.
I was just curious about the development aspect of all these projects. Has it been, I mean, obviously you've moved around internationally, so you've worked with different development teams. How did you go about, are they all academic based? How did you find your developing teams, and do you develop the extended reality programming yourself at all?
Yeah. So I feel very fortunate because I remember I started at the university as just a full-time teaching assistant, right? I'm not a faculty, but it was 2012, right? So the thing is about people. When you volunteer yourself and do the harder things, you meet people. I work with librarians, I work with IT people. And some people in those departments, they're a bit more, I would say they want to learn. They want to do meaningful projects that's not really exactly part of what the bosses say, but they want to help university. So once you attend these talks and you connect, you meet them for coffee, and then when the moment comes, when there's a COVID, there's also opportunity, right? The university president say, okay, there's a project. And they can't remember, oh, they have been doing this work here outside the kind of portfolio or task. And then we come together, get a small funding, we build something, and then it just snowball to better. So it's really the human connections from day one that, and personally, I think that's also how we connect, right? The disposition and personality to reach out to others. Yep. We all have mutual interests at some point. Thank you.
Any other questions from the audience?
Hi, yes. Your presentation was amazing and very, very interesting. My question to you would be, for universities that haven't implemented a lot of VR programs or haven't like really gone full in with it, where would be a good starting point? Like with your projects, like what introduced you to VR being a solution that really drove that to be an initiative and an innovative conclusion or solution for other projects?
Maybe I first ask a question here. Anybody work at the university? Yeah, okay. Right. Oh, more than half, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I suppose everyone work more than a year or so, right? Okay, some years. After you have worked for a few years at the university, there's something that doesn't change in university. That is, your students are getting younger. Or rather, they're the same age, right? But their behavior also changed because when I started in 2012, there's not many have iPhone. I mean, even earlier, right? I mean, I was even younger and I watched some adults have BlackBerry, those era I saw, right? But I'm just saying that the young people, they're the fastest to catch on technology, not just being cool, but what helps them save time in their work, in their life, in the social life. You have to watch them. So they're the one who influenced me, right? Luckily, I started early in my 20s when I started interacting with them. So I caught on the bug faster. Now I'm a little bit slow because I do sense a bit of the gap, in the age there. It's like they see that you have some gray hair, they kind of, it's like a, what we call that? There's a space, right? The force field or something, right? The force field, right? Yeah. So, but look at who our main stakeholders are. Without students, we are not university. Like, watch their actions. Sometimes you ask them, they won't tell you. But if you see people holding the phone, what are they doing? They just look behind. Oh, they're just catching Pokemon. And then, of course, like, what is Pokemon going to do with university? But it's the mechanism behind it. Because when one person catches it, it's not fun. But once they have a leaderboard, right, and it's a bit of fun there in the Pokemon, right, and they can do it not in the home. They have to get out. They have to smell fresh air. The unpredictability. So that part is also part of the VR. If you look at the projects I've done, there must be a bit of mystery there, a bit of unknown. Because we are human, we like something mysterious. Not entirely, but there's a bit of the element. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Good answer. All right. We're coming toward the ends of our show here. Everyone, please thank Man Fung here, coming from Stanford University.
Thank you.
Coming from the University of Dublin. Coming from Singapore.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just a pitch for coming up. We have another Futures Forum. This time I'm going to be putting on the show. We're partnered with the Intelligent Reality in Education Association at Columbia Teachers College in New York. And we'll be talking about, or I'll be presenting on building communities of research and practice in extended reality. So I'm also in addition to being a faculty fellow here at the Office of Education Initiatives and Innovation, I'm also the CEO of the Immersive Learning Research Network, and we'll be kind of exploring how that has evolved over the last 12 years. So really looking forward to that. It's Tuesday, April 3rd at 11 a.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. London, and it'll be online. It won't be face-to-face here, but please log in. You can get an invitation in our MS Teams environment. And we're looking forward to continuing these Futures Forums, some of them live, most of them probably webinar format. And then we'll take the recordings and drop them into the MS Teams space and continue the conversation that way. Finally, we'd like to thank the Vice Provost's Office of Education Initiatives and Innovations. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Shara. And the Maureen and Mike Mansfield Library here for providing this wonderful setting. And our new U of M at XR community of practice for giving us a mechanism for being able to work across the curriculum in this space. We'd like to thank the Fulbright program for bringing us FundMan and the Immersive Learning Research Network for allowing us the use of the Zoom and extending this throughout the world through those invitations. So thank you so much. And that will be the end of our. And thank you for coming on Zoom or watching us if you're watching this recording.
Yes, I see my friends from Egypt, Malaysia, yeah, parts of the world, right? Jacob, yeah. So thank you for having me. Go Greece.
Thank you.